Look at this waveform. It displays the typical travel of ambient sound on a clear, normal night. But when a heavy snowstorm rolls in, the environment physically changes. The air fills with highly porous ice crystals that capture and trap these sound waves. Physicists call this acoustic attenuation, a literal dampening of the environment. Notice what happens when those waves hit a layer of fresh snow. They flatline. The sound is completely absorbed. This creates a sensory trap for anyone caught outside. Our primary early warning system, our hearing, is effectively neutralized. We call this phenomenon the closing distance, where the quiet creates a massive blind spot, allowing threats to approach completely undetected. Take the case of a 19-year-old who decided to capitalize on this quiet. He left his house for a midnight walk through a dense local forest during a sudden, heavy snowfall. Without those auditory cues to warn of approaching danger, a peaceful winter landscape turns into a psychological cage. You are completely exposed, and whatever is out there can maneuver freely, totally unheard. About 20 minutes into his walk, the hiker heard a small voice call down to him from above. 20 feet up in the branches of a perfectly straight, nearly impossible to climb pine tree sat a 9-year-old boy. Underneath the tree, the snow was perfectly smooth. No tracks led to the trunk, and no disturbed patches suggested a climb. The child was already perched there before the first flake even fell, sitting in the freezing cold for nearly an hour. Before the hiker could even figure out how to get him down safely, the boy stood straight up on the branch. He said, "Watch this," and leaned backward. He plummeted 30 feet, hitting the packed snow below with a sickening, heavy thud. A fall from that height should be fatal. But before the hiker could even reach the impact crater, the boy instantly sprang to his feet, totally uninjured, and sprinted off into the bark tree line. The hiker made the irrational choice to chase after him. As he ran past a nearby tree, something dropped from above and latched directly onto his back. The boy was suddenly on top of him, laughing while tearing into the hiker's neck with his fingernails, before fleeing once again into the whiteout. Out in the deep woods during a storm, you have zero physical barriers. The landscape offers absolutely no protection, meaning an unseen threat dictates exactly when, where, and how close the encounter will be. When the open woods fail us, our instinct is to seek out transitional boundaries. We look to heavy machinery, running cars, and steel cabins, trusting that industrial strength will provide a shield against the elements. During a massive blizzard that essentially shut down his entire town, another 19-year-old decided to walk 1.5 miles down a desolate, unplowed road to reach a friend's house. Halfway there, a heavy snowplow appeared through the blinding whiteout, creeping slowly toward him. It was a massive piece of machinery, a beacon of safety built specifically to conquer these exact conditions. Then, the machine lost control. It veered sharply to the right, cut completely across the road, and slammed violently into the trees. On a night like this, even the most formidable equipment is just another object at the mercy of the environment. The hiker rushed to the tree line to help. He found the plow with its front end crumpled against a thick trunk. The headlights were blazing and the engine was still idling loudly, but when he pulled open the door, the cab was completely empty. There was nowhere for a driver to hide inside. And more importantly, the pristine, deep snow around the vehicle showed absolutely zero footprints leading away from the wreck. Sensing danger, his gut told him to run. As he retreated, a man's voice rang out from the woods behind him, begging for help. Even through the dampening effect of the heavy snow, the voice sounded impossibly close on the second shout, moving faster than humanly possible. He survived the run to his friend's house and called the authorities. But when the police investigated the exact stretch of road later that night, they found no crashed vehicle and 0 tire tracks. The plow had never actually been there. This diagram shows the disconnect between the visual input and the physical reality. Your eyes register a wrecked vehicle, but the ground refuses to confirm it. Logic breaks under the weight of what it's witnessing. When logic collapses, you realize those physical barriers never existed. Your mind is left exposed to the elements. Once transitional spaces fail, there is only one option left. We retreat to the inner sanctuary of the home, trusting 4 walls and a locked door as our final line of defense against the cold. For a high school track runner named Sebastian, that retreat became a literal race. His late train was the last one to run during a severe blizzard, forcing him to walk over a mile home through an isolated wooded stretch of town. Deep in the trees, he looked up and saw a man standing 30 yards ahead, directly blocking his path. The man was wearing a short-sleeved shirt and shorts in freezing temperatures, staring at him with a deranged, frozen smile. Survival in this final stage depends entirely on winning a foot race. You have to reach that locked door before the threat can close the gap. A gap that vanished instantly when the man suddenly screamed and sprinted directly at him through the whiteout. Sebastian barely outran the man, bursting through his front door and locking it behind him. He was finally inside, surrounded by his family, warm and seemingly safe. There is a deep-seated relief that comes with a locked door, a belief that the wood and deadbolt form a total partition between you and the chaos outside. But his body knew better. For hours, the house was dead silent, yet he lay in bed trapped in a state of hypervigilance, completely unable to sleep, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Then, a sudden rattle at his bedroom window broke the silence. He pulled back the curtain, and standing inches from the glass was the man. His skin was completely purple from the cold, his patchy beard covered in ice, staring right back inside. His father chased the man off and immediately called the police. But because the lone set of footprints led deep into the dark woods behind the house, the officers refused to follow them, leaving the threat alive and unresolved. A snowstorm's greatest threat is the silence it leaves behind. It creates a world where every physical boundary is an illusion, and the distance between you and the unknown can close without a single sound to warn you.